Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Dr. Fiona Lee. Hi, Doctor.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us. So the Business Spotlight, what is the Business Spotlight? So we've created the Business Spotlight for you to learn a little bit more about business. Well, more specifically, a little bit more about Fiona's business today. And if you're thinking about getting in business or if you're already on that entrepreneurship journey, then you're in the right place. So Fiona, if you can just kick things off for us, please, by just letting the audience know who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. My name is Ningfeng Fiona Lee, but for the easy way, just call me Fiona. I'm originally trained as a clinical oncologist and then moved my journey to the scientific field, did all my research in the oncology side of cancer disease, how it happened, etc. And then we identified some really interesting topics, and we could actually help the patients to protect their normal tissue not to be damaged by the cancer therapy, and also help to support the cancer therapy get more effective, simply just also improve the cancer patient's quality of the life to go a long way. So I moved out of the research and then bringing all this knowledge from my clinical experience and the research experience, build up the company called VasoDynamics, located in the Stevenage life science sector, a life science hub. Now we have a team all very much focused on the clinical trial development, just hope to move a series product into the patient's hands, really to help patients to deal with a series of side effects, for example, like mouth ulcerations and skin damage from the radiation, and also hair loss induced by the chemotherapy or immunotherapy, etc. So now here I am, also hope to share a little bit of my experience. Now, hopefully we could also move on to do something really useful for our life. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, amazing. Wow. Thank you for that share. I mean, thank you for letting us know exactly what it is that you do, Fiona. And yeah, I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat now to find out more about you and more about the business. So VasoDynamics then. So what is it that you would say that would differentiate between how you work, Fiona, and how anyone else doing something similar to what you offer would be?
Yeah, it's a great question. During all my clinical practice and then the research field, what I find is we're trying to look at the disease, try to find a drug to treat disease. But in fact, the whole body condition also plays a really important role. So if there's a certain way we could also help the body to cope with side effects of the treatment, to support the treatment more efficiently, and our whole body can go through many different types of treatments to really have a very sustained quality of life and go a long way, also to help us live better and longer. And so this actually put into a certain mindset how we can differentiate our business, not to go along all together with, but of course our science can be applied for the similar way like other business to target on the certain disease. But we use the knowledge to package in a way we build a platform to also particularly look at the side effect of certain treatment, of the existing treatment, or of certain future treatment. So
Sure.
this way we could use a combined effort to help the body to cope with all the disease, cope with the treatment. So this is our quite unique side. So far, I would say globally, we're probably the only one, only just put our focus, just look at the side effects. We don't really want to distract our focus too much. But the looking at the side effects is holding the optimal goal is to support the therapy more effective, support the quality of life, support our lifelong longevity in a better way. So that's a quite unique site, I would say.
I was going to say, yeah, that is very unique. And, you know, we're obviously talking about a subject which I'm sure would have touched every single one of our listeners and viewers. So just give us a bit of a whistle-stop tour, if you can, Fiona, of the, you know, the reasoning behind why you started VasoDynamics, and also just bring us up to where we're at now. So, you know, just a bit of a whistle-stop tour is the reason why you set the business up and what that journey's been like so far.
Oh yeah, the business. To be honest, I'm kind of entrepreneurial as well. I started my first consultancy company even when I was doing the PhD research period. Just hope to apply my knowledge in parallel to my own research, and then gradually start to see more and more similar type of research, similar type of business go along. Until 2017, that time actually I met my business partner. We really put all the knowledge together and the mindset together. My business partner, yeah, sadly he passed away a few months ago. He
Oh,
he
really
was
sorry to hear that.
yeah, yeah, that's also one of the thing I want to mention also later on about the building the business, because when we start, we as a scientific and then a clinicians and with a certain passion want to produce something useful, always very much only look at the knowledge, the technique or that side, but then the business side also quite important. So I was quite fortunate to yeah, met my business partner at the time, and then he gave a certain initial funding. We really can start to put all the knowledge together into a bundle to start to build something almost from scratch, but from I mean the cash wise built from scratch. And then as after that, I got a lot of support from I really appreciate the support from the different like charity bodies and then government bodies, the grants, and also the VC investors to really support this particular type of innovations to help us move on to current stage now. In 2020, we were quite badly hit by the pandemic. Yeah, that's something I think all the business is facing. We are only human, can't really predict what will happen in the nature. But when this pandemic happened, we restructured the company to put everything very much shrink in the structure that we can maintain throughout the whole pandemic interruptions, still keep the development going. Up to now, 2024, we finished our clinical trial in UK, and then now we are looking for the coming funding and then have another larger scale the trial, hopefully during a trial, and after the trial we'll be able to deliver our products to patients to really make some change to the patient's life. So that's a kind of a journey from the first my own consultancy in 2002. Did I mention that? The two. Now it's 2024. Business wise, that's quite a long time. Like I had a lot of like up and down, really enjoyable moment and also sour moment.
Yes.
But up to now, I have to say I very much enjoyed it. At least this is something I could apply all my knowledge and my passion, and also can have a whole circle of very supportive friends and my family all support the business. That's something yeah, I always never regret to do.
Yeah, I think that's key, isn't it? Having that infrastructure and support network around you, because, like you've said, the roller coaster ride of running a business,
Yeah.
it is exactly that. So, well, thank you very much for that share. I mean, that's a very great insight into what's just some of the sort of areas over the last 20 odd years that you've experienced there. And it sounds to me like VasoDynamics has got to a point now where, like you say, the UK clinical trials have been completed, and what's the future hold? I mean, what's the next steps?
Yeah, the next step, we are looking for bigger funding to expand the trial outside the UK, is including the UK have bigger settings, including more hospitals, and also outside the UK include Europe and then US and also hopefully Asia, because my original clinical training was in China. So I'm very much hoping also can bring my knowledge back to China to really benefit that big part of the population and patients there. So this way is the whole global setting also very much relying on our team's expertise, have a good tailor-made trial, can match different part of the population with different, diversities of the patient groups and then diversity of the treatment methodologies. But then we're working on it. Hopefully, we're looking to about 3 to 5 years plan to finish this larger scale multi-center global trial, and then to enable this kind of market approval from the different agencies from Europe, US, hopefully Asia as well. So this way we can quickly go through certain accelerated approval paths to enable more patients access our products a little bit early. Finger crossed on this. It's a 3 to 5 years plan.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So it sounds like we're basically speaking to you when there's been an awful lot going on in the background. I often hear people talk about overnight successes, and yet these overnight successes are usually whether they're individuals that are on the TV or whether they're businesses that you and I might know as sort of like household brand names now. They sort of like build these businesses for years, if not decades, before they actually really get to that point. And it sounds like you're at that point where it's just about to explode. So I mean, it sounds like we're talking at the exact right time. So thank you very much for that, Fiona. So
yeah.
I mean, moving on to yourself then as the business owner, I mean, it sounds like you've had a real sort of like fun time with this. I mean, you've got that beaming smile there. So what would you say has been, I'm sure there's been many, but if you could just share with our audience, one of the biggest lessons that you've got from running the business?
Yeah, this is the biggest lesson. It's always difficult to say which one is the biggest. I've got so many lessons. Yes, I think probably the biggest one I could say is communication. The lesson on communication, not just like a language barrier, cultural barrier, also the gender barrier, because I was originally growing up in the Chinese culture is academic family, always very shy to speak out and tend to follow who's senior or older, follow men a lot more. But now during the period when I'm growing up, I start to see I have the knowledge, I have the thinking, I have my ideas, and I sort of try to train myself, try to speak up, try to really hold on my own opinion, to have a good debate, to really draw a conclusion on a fair ground rather than just compromise to whoever senior or whoever in different background, whoever in bigger, louder voice. So that's probably kind of lesson I would learn is if I were told very early on at a young age is even you're a girl, but doesn't matter, just speak out and then be brave. But my parents are always quite supportive to whichever kind of choice I would make for my own path. It's probably me myself. Just that's a lesson I want to tell probably all the girls, or not even girls, just whoever you got an idea but so shy. That's the lesson I want to say. Just don't be shy, and talk to the people around you, listen and talk, and then make sure actually you get the idea come across. So that probably will shorten a lot of zigzag ways, because I believe a lot of zigzag is due to inefficient communication. So that's the biggest lesson I learned. I could say maybe.
That's a fantastic share, and thank you very much, because I think that will resonate, or I know that's going to resonate with a lot of our listeners and audience, because not just the communication, but sort of like coming out of that shell and sort of not being shy and exploring those creative ideas that we all have. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay.
So Fiona, we're gonna, if only we could, we're gonna go back in time. If we had a time machine, we're gonna jump in it, and we're gonna go back in time, and we're gonna go and speak with an 18-year-old Fiona. Okay.
Okay.
But the benefit is that you get to take the knowledge that you have now, and you get to give one piece of advice or one golden nugget to your 18-year-old self. What would it be?
18-year-old myself. And for me, myself, I wanted to be a doctor, wanted to create something to be useful for patients, saving life. Also, part of the reason my really good friend, a girl, died at the age of 11 due to leukemia. So I have a very determined idea. Even at 18 years old, I was just choosing all the studies, straight away go to medicine and then research on oncology. But then if you talk broadly to 18-year-old me, myself, I might just want to say is probably you will sense it already from the previous discussion is speak out a little bit more, step out of the door a little bit more. That's something I always say: start early. Entrepreneurship doesn't need to be waiting until you're getting really experienced. And entrepreneurship and the good ideas can come from very early on. And passion, that's something to drive the good ideas to come out. And in general, broad way, not just grow any shy. It's just if for any 18 years old, even teenagers, if you have a passion, have idea, just never let anyone senior or any other voices around you, but do listen to the voices, listen to the advice around, but don't let those voices and the devices stop you be creative. So that's something always keep in the mind. And yeah, so never stop being creative.
I love that. Never stop being creative. That's and the passion as well, not just in your voice, but you mentioned the word passion a couple of times there. And I think that's key. So, if only we had that time machine, eh?
Yeah, you went back. I probably will accumulate even more passion.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic. Well, on that note,
Mm.
what is it, Fiona, that you would say? I mean, you're very passionate. You've come across as very passionate on the podcast today. But what is it that really inspires you? What is it that puts that fire in your belly, that determination to do what you do day in, day out, week in, week out?
That's probably still have to go back to passion. Because in the clinic, when I saw all my patients actually get suffered by the side effects, I was heartbroken. That part of passion, I don't know, is because kind of mercy feeling, or it's something is about my own inner duty feeling. I'm a doctor meant to save people, not to make my patients suffer even more. So that kind of responsibility, plus my own passion of want to help people, keep driving me around, and then try to find the knowledge, trying to find a way to make myself even more mature or more weaponized with better knowledge or better tools to help other people, to help my patients, and then now develop the drug. So for me, it's I get to some point is the research is not going that as predicted. The positive, I always have a lot of failure results, I have to repeat so many times. And then the business, I had to travel like a day and a night, almost lacking of sleep. I was so down. But then when I saw the patient suffering, when I see my friends saying, Fiona, when is your drug coming out? I get wake up just straight away, woke up straight away. I think I have something I need to do, just keep me going. As long as my body condition still, physical condition still can keep going, I will definitely keep my head clear and what is the priority, keep it going, make sure I develop something really useful. So that's I would say, passion and the responsibility is driving me up to now.
Yeah, I think it's it's amazing what you're doing, and having that deep-rooted sense of purpose and having that drive you to achieve your goals. It's amazing what you're doing, Fiona. So, I think that's just, I'm sure that the listeners and the viewers today are going to sort of feel that as well. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So
Thank you.
we're just scratching the surface here. The podcast is, they're all fairly quick, short podcasts, and we are literally just scratching the surface here. So I know not just me, but the listeners and the viewers today are going to want to find out more about you and your business, VasoDynamics. So what would be the best way for them to do that, Fiona?
We actually have websites and then frequently update news about the progress of our company and progress of the technology and the products. And also we have the LinkedIn. We frequently post news, but we are, in a way, maybe also because me, the kind of a leadership, we're relatively shy. We don't really post that frequently. So if you just have a time check once a month, you might see something new.
Yeah.
And then it's the nature of drug development. Normally take quite a long time to really accumulate something meaningful to be able to disclose to outside the world. And then at the meantime, we do have our quite a lot of team members willing to talk with very broad audience. Even we like to talk with students to share our experience, how to develop the interest in life science sector, how to use knowledge to really apply to the real life. It's not just being on a book or on equation to calculate the numbers, but it's really useful for our life. That's all the science about. So it need to be also applicable. And then the other resources, I have to say thank you to you, Mark. You brought me over here. I guess it's another thought to help us reach to more audience, to understand, to know what we are doing, and hopefully what we do also could be quite useful, quite helpful for their life as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure, Fiona. And so the website, what's the website address? Have you got that there?
Yeah, it's just www.vasodynamics.co.uk. Yeah, we're very domestic UK company, so yeah. It's .co.uk.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you, Fiona, for sharing with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and that smiling face is absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I have to say, really appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit more about our company.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. Well, thanks very much, Fiona. And for those viewers and listeners, that is the Business Spotlight. That's a wrap. We'll see you all again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.